My mom looked at my shoulder and said, "You're not welcome here anymore." All because I had a tiny tattoo with Hebrew writing that meant life. She thought she was teaching me a lesson, but she just gave me the power to destroy everything she built. What happened next? Well, let's just say some lessons cost more than you think. If you love stories where karma hits back hard, hit that subscribe button right now. Like this video if you think cruel actions deserve consequences. Get ready for a story where revenge was served ice cold and perfectly planned. Let's jump right in. Hi, I'm Rachel. Last year, I learned that some people only love you when they can control you. I was 24 years old. I was finally living my own life for the first time. I wasn't partying or being crazy. I was just being myself. After years of my mom controlling everything I did, I moved out and started making my own choices. The tattoo was special to me. It was a small pomegranate on my shoulder with Hebrew letters that said, Chayim. That means life in Hebrew. It wasn't big or ugly. You couldn't even see it unless I wore a tank top. I thought about it for months before getting it. To me, it meant celebrating life and connecting with my Jewish heritage. But when my mom saw it, she acted like I had done something terrible. I came home for Passover. I was excited to see everyone. I even dressed nicely, wearing appropriate clothes that my mom would like. I was helping her set up the dining room when I reached up to fix something on the table. My sleeve moved just enough that she could see part of my tattoo. Everything changed in that moment. "Rachel," she said in a scary, quiet voice. "What is that thing on your body?" I tried to explain it to her. I told her what the word meant. I explained how it connected me to our faith. But she wasn't listening. She was just staring at my shoulder like I had done something disgusting. "You came into my house with that mark?" "Mom, if you just let me tell you what it means." "I know what it means. It means you want to live like some street person with ink all over you. It means you don't care about anything your father and I taught you." Things got worse from there. She started yelling. I was trying to explain. Other family members came to watch what was happening. My younger brother stood there looking uncomfortable. "Pack your bags and get out. Right now. Before dinner starts." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "You're kicking me out? Because of this. If you want to mark yourself up like trash, you can find somewhere else to sleep. You're not welcome in this house anymore." She told my brother to walk me to my car. Like I was some kind of criminal. Like I was dangerous instead of the daughter she raised for 24 years. I packed my stuff while she stood in the doorway watching me. The worst part wasn't that she was angry. It was that she looked at me like I was dirty. Like I was something gross that she needed to get rid of. My brother walked me to my car but wouldn't look at me. "Maybe you should have thought about this before you got it," he said as I put my bag in the car. I didn't cry on the drive home. I was too shocked. But I cried the next morning when I saw what she posted on Facebook. She wrote a long post about being heartbroken by a daughter who ruined herself. She said she was letting go for her own peace and that she was sad about my spiritual death. She said she had to choose faith over supporting bad behavior. And she tagged me in the post. Everyone from our synagogue could see it. All our family friends. All our relatives. They could all see exactly what she thought of me. People started commenting things like, "Sorry for your loss," and "You did the right thing," and "Sometimes you have to be tough with kids." I felt like she had killed me in public while I was still alive. But then something changed inside me. The hurt turned into something else. Something harder. If she wanted to destroy me in public, I was going to hit back in private. Here's the thing about my mom. She runs a very successful kosher catering business. And I mean really successful. She's the go-to person for Jewish events in our area. Weddings, bar mitzvahs, synagogue parties, big charity events. If you wanted good kosher food for something important, you called my mom. Everyone loved her work and trusted her completely. The business runs out of our old family house. The house my dad bought years ago. The same house she just kicked me out of. Now here's something important about my dad. He was great with people but terrible with paperwork. When he started the catering business, He set it up as a company with just his name on it. He always said he would add my mom's name later when things got more stable. But somehow, he never did it. There was always another event to worry about or another problem to solve. When my dad died 4 years ago, everyone just assumed the business became my mom's. She had been running everything day to day for years anyway. She handled all the contracts, managed the workers, and built relationships with clients. It seemed obvious that it was hers now. But legally, the business still belonged to my dad's estate. And my dad's estate had only one person who inherited everything. Me. That Sunday after her horrible Facebook post, I sat in my apartment looking at legal papers I had barely read before. Why would I care about them? The catering business was her whole life. I had my own job. I never wanted to take over her business. But now, reading through all the legal stuff carefully, I realized something that made my heart beat fast. I owned 51% of that catering company. My mom had been running a business that she didn't legally own for 4 years. Monday morning, I called the lawyers who handled my dad's stuff when he died. Ms. Rachel? I'm glad you called. We've been wanting to talk to your family about some problems. What kind of problems? Well, your mother has been filing business taxes and getting licenses for the company, but ownership was never changed after your father died. Technically, every contract she signed in the past 4 years might not be legal without permission from the real owner. The lawyer was being careful with his words, but I understood what he meant. My mom had been running the business illegally, and one phone call from me could shut it all down. I didn't call right away. I spent 3 days thinking about it. This wasn't just about hurting her. It would affect her workers and her clients too. Families who trusted her with their important celebrations. But then I looked at social media again. More posts. More pictures of family dinners where they had completely erased me. More comments from people in our community talking about their own problem children they had to discipline. My name had become a warning story about what happens when daughters don't respect their parents. The thing that finally made me decide was a comment from Mrs. Rosen. Ruth showed real courage here. Too many parents today are scared to set rules for their adult kids. This is what putting faith first looks like. Courage. For publicly embarrassing her daughter over a tattoo that honored their own religion. That afternoon, I called my lawyer back. I want to take control of the company right now. I think there have been illegal operations and misuse of business property. Are you sure about this? This will shut down her business until we fix the ownership problems. That could take months. I'm completely sure. We filed the papers on Thursday. Friday, her lawyer got a letter telling her to stop all business operations. By Monday, her food suppliers had stopped working with her until the legal stuff got sorted out. Tuesday, the health department came to inspect because of the ownership problems. Wednesday morning, she called me. Rachel? Rachel, what did you do? Her voice was shaking. They're saying I can't cater the Morrison wedding this weekend. The Bernstein bar mitzvah is next month and I already bought everything. What is this about ownership problems? I let her panic for a moment before I answered. I kept my voice calm and steady. I think you got the legal papers that explain what's happening. This is crazy. I've been running this business for over 20 years. Your father would be so upset about what you're doing. Dad left the business to me, Mom. You've been running it without legal permission for 4 years. That's not my fault. But you don't even want the catering business. You have your own life, your own job. You're right. I don't want it. But I own it. And until we fix the legal problems, nothing else can happen. She was getting more desperate. Please, Rachel. The Morrison wedding has 300 people. Mrs. Morrison knows everyone important in our community. If I can't do this wedding... Maybe you should have thought about that before you decided to destroy your daughter's reputation in public. There was a long silence. This is about the Facebook post, she finally asked. This is about you choosing your image over your daughter. This is about you deciding I was dead to you over a symbol that means life in our own language. This is about learning that what you do has consequences. I could delete the posts. I could tell people I made a mistake. Too late for that. The damage is already done. But here's what happens now. Every event you can't cater, every client you lose, every relationship that gets damaged, that's the price for what you chose to do. You chose to make this public and ugly. Now you have to live with public and ugly consequences. She hung up on me. Within a few hours, my phone wouldn't stop ringing. My brother called to yell at me. My aunt is trying to fix things between us. Family friends who suddenly cared a lot about healing and forgiveness. Everyone who said nothing when she destroyed me was now desperately trying to make peace. Word spread fast in our community that the catering company was having legal trouble. The Morrison wedding got picked up by another caterer who charged 3 times as much. The Bernstein bar mitzvah got changed to a small family dinner because they didn't want to risk another caterer falling through. But I wasn't done yet. While her world was falling apart, I was building something new. I found other young Jewish people who had been rejected by their families for not following all the rules. There was Jake, whose parents disowned him for marrying someone who wasn't Jewish. Sarah, who got cut off for being gay. Rebecca, whose family stopped talking to her for wanting to become a rabbi instead of just getting married and having babies. I told them my story. Not the legal details, but the emotional truth. How much it hurts when the person who raised you treats you like garbage. How embarrassing it is to be publicly marked as a failure. Then I made my own post. Not on Facebook where her friends could see it and attack me. On Instagram, in Jewish support groups, in places where young people share stories about religious trauma and family rejection. It was a simple picture of my tattoo in good lighting. The pomegranate looked beautiful and meaningful. The Hebrew letters were clear and perfect. I wrote, "This is what got me disowned." A symbol of life from our own tradition. Some people choose shame over love. They choose control over acceptance. I choose healing over hate. To every young person being told they're not Jewish enough, not obedient enough, not good enough, you are enough exactly as you are. The response was huge and immediate. Hundreds of likes within hours. Dozens of people shared it. Comments from people sharing their own stories and their own tattoos and their own experiences with families who only love you conditionally. Young rabbis shared it with supportive messages. Jewish college groups reposted it. Young adults all over the country started sharing pictures of their own meaningful tattoos, Hebrew phrases, stars of David, symbols that connected them to their heritage in personal ways. Someone from our community recognized my story and put the pieces together. Wait, isn't this Ruth's daughter? The one she posted about. The conversation changed from supporting me to questioning her. People started commenting on her old Facebook posts. This is what you disowned your daughter for? Your daughter's tattoo is more Jewish than how you acted. She tried to do damage control. She posted vague messages about complicated family situations and respecting privacy during hard times. But the internet remembers everything, and people have taken screenshots. Her public attack on me was now being used as an example of bad parenting and religious hypocrisy. The business never came back. By the time we fixed the legal problems 3 months later, all her clients were gone. The families who had trusted her with their most important celebrations had found other caterers. 20 years of building her reputation got destroyed in just a few weeks. I offered to sell the business back to her for exactly what my father had originally put into it, about $15,000. She couldn't afford it. The woman who had built a catering empire serving our community's most important people couldn't come up with $15,000 because that empire was gone. My brother called me, angry and desperate. She lost everything, Rachel. She's talking about selling the house. Was destroying Mom's whole life really worth getting revenge? I didn't destroy her life, David. I just took control of property that was already legally mine. Everything else was her choice. She chose to make our private family problem into a public show. She chose embarrassment over having a real conversation. She chose her reputation over her daughter. I just responded the same way she did. But she's family. Exactly. That's why what she did hurt so much. You can't use the family excuse now when she's the one who broke the family first. The house did get sold eventually. She moved into a small apartment across town. She got a job managing events for a hotel, good honest work, but a big step down from running her own famous company. What about me? I started something beautiful. Every month, I host meetings for young Jewish adults who have been rejected by their families for being themselves. We call it Life Affirming, named after my tattoo. We share stories, support each other, and celebrate having the courage to live honestly even when it costs everything. 43 people have gotten tattoos since my story went viral. Hebrew words, meaningful symbols, small acts of self-expression that represent big moments of accepting yourself. Each one sends me a picture. Each one shares their story. Each one proves that the best revenge isn't destroying someone, it's creating something better. It's been over a year since that Passover dinner explosion. My mom and I don't talk, but I hear updates through family members. She apparently tells people she acted from deep faith, but might have done things differently. It's not an apology, but it's not the angry righteousness she started with either. My brother and I slowly fixed our relationship. He finally admitted he was scared to defend me that night because he didn't want to become her next target. I understand that fear now. I also understand that being brave doesn't mean you're not scared. It means you do the right thing even when you are scared. The best part isn't that her business failed. It's not even that she lost her position as the moral authority in our community. It's that I found my voice and my people. I learned that love with conditions isn't really love, it's just control wearing a prettier mask. They always say, family is everything. But what they don't tell you is that sometimes family is just a cage with pretty decorations. And when you finally walk out, with your ink, your pride, and your peace, the silence that follows is the loudest freedom you'll ever hear. What do you think? Did I do the right thing, or did I go too far? Have you ever had to choose between family approval and being true to yourself? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. If this story hits you in the feels, smash that like button and subscribe for more stories where justice gets served exactly as cold as it needs to be. And remember, you are enough, exactly as you are. Until next time, keep choosing yourself. You're worth it.